Okay, audio should be working. Hi, Tyler. I'm Miguel. My apologies for the late reply. You've caught me sort of in a tricky situation because I've been doing this research project for like a conference, and it was a lengthy analog thing that had me stuck. I have to work during the daytime and everything. So, what I'm sending you in the email is the syllabus for now, and this video, which you should have a link on the email is sort of a walkthrough of what the course has been going through. So, this is the fundamentals of music for majors. This is a course that I've been teaching for the last 4 semesters. This course has gone through a lot of transformations. It initially was an online course where there was a lack of tutorship. Like I was there, but there was never really interaction with students. And I was the one who motioned for like the course to be back in person because music is social. Music requires discussing ideas, doing things with people, and um, it wasn't very effective in the prior version. It was just like a more lecture mode, like you just watch videos and do exercises and then send the homework. And I would be on the side just like making sure people were sending stuff. I love constructivism, so um, classroom work where it's student center, that for me is a big objective. I'm telling you this because I want you to understand sort of what materials you're going to have is related to sort of this philosophy of teaching. So I'm going to go through the syllabus and pinpoint probably this detail again, the background, and why the course is designed as it is. You're free to change whatever you want. I just tell you, like, hey, these are the materials. This is the background of all this stuff. So, this course, I understand it's possible Dr. Arndt told you, I think it's taught for next semester, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can see here on the screen, 9 to 9:50. I have been vouching for years to make this course at 11, no earlier than 10, possibly in the afternoon, but it's very difficult. The faculty, I think they're barely going to discuss changing morning schedules. Um, I think it's like next year or something like that, which is a terrible flaw. So you can know in advance because a lot of the courses that we have to take as graduate students occur at the same time as these classes, from especially from 8 to 10, the theory classes. So just keep in mind that people in the morning, especially undergraduates, this is a very introductory course, are not awake at that time. So the fall season tends to have more students than the spring season. I've generally gotten like around 11 to 12 people during the fall and between 2 and 4 people during the spring session. So this course has always been tweaked around. The less people you have, the more opportunity they have to work with you. But you have to sort of know when to force people to work together. Um, Especially when it's small groups, people tend to be a bit more like introverted or like, well, I can do it on my own. I don't want to work as a team. But I have a lot of activities that are meant to be worked together, to be discussed together, where like I'm not lecturing, I'm just guiding them in the background in a way. Okay, so you'll have this template. You can copy this. Most of the syllabus is template made. Um, I am going to just go to the description of the course so you can understand what the course really is. So, reading here, a description of course, it's a 1 semester course designed to review music fundamentals while enrolled in music theory 1 or as a preliminary study in preparation for the 2 year music theory sequence course. Okay. It's required for any music majors. They have to I understand that this is a requirement for Theory 1. And generally, what happens for Theory 1 is that people enroll in Theory 1 and they take an exam. It's an online test. You don't have to worry about this. This is done by the professors. If students don't score above a certain level, then they're required to take this course as such. Some people take both courses at the same time, so theory and musicianship and this one. But some people wait for the fall season, or they just take one course at a time. So they'd have to wait 1 full year to take the theory and musicianship. So there's a caveat there that the faculty hasn't been able to resolve. It's that when you do a course or you learn something for an intensive period of time, for like this 1 semester, if there's a gap, um, say from like the spring session, there's 3 months gap to the fall session. Students might have to take the exam again unless they have like an approval. And sometimes students don't do well after a long time, especially if you're taking the course in the fall and then you're waiting for another year to take the theory in musicianship, it's guaranteed that the recall memory is just going to go down, and people don't do that well. So this is something that the faculty hasn't been able to resolve in terms of like, well, what's the most efficient way for them um, uh, to take advantage of this course, which is pretty intensive in a way, and be able to comply with like the general requirements of the theory. So um, there's the content isn't that difficult. There's 6 units. This is sort of like the, you can see here, the learning objective. Well, a lot of these students are coming in probably playing an instrument, probably reading some notation, but some of them don't read. So especially with the big groups, sometimes it's tricky because you will have a a disparity in terms of like some people are very very good, they have sometimes perfect pitch, but sometimes they don't know how to read, or they don't know how to um, assimilate certain concepts with what they already know. And some people are just brilliant, they know everything, they shouldn't be taking the course sometimes, or something. I don't know, it's so varied in terms of how you can bring everyone together into like the same level. So that's sort of like a warning that you have to be able to deal with different speeds of acquiring the knowledge or understanding the knowledge. It's tricky. Every semester is always tricky. You have to know your people. You have to know how to attend their needs, and also be open to their suggestions as such in terms of what they're really achieving. Because a lot of these courses, we call them theory courses and everything, but if you look at the textbooks and general designs of these courses, they're really focused more to like, hey, learn facts. But learning facts is not the same as understanding facts or seeing why is this important in the long run and everything. So sometimes it's good to sort of connect with what students are doing. So I will mention that there's no textbooks for this course because textbooks are freaking expensive, and students are already paying a lot of money sometimes for the theory one. It depends on the professor. I think Dr. Arndt and Ulbrich, I don't know if they're going to have a textbook this year, but last time they taught it, there was a there wasn't a textbook. Dr. Arndt tends to design all his materials. Ulbrich might have something going on with his own textbook, so I don't know if there's going to be money spent. But what I do offer students is there's an online textbook, Hutchinson. I'm gonna push. Let me see if I still have it. It's over here. It's like 21st century, yeah, music theory for the 21st century. So I have this textbook as a reference. I actually found like 2 textbooks that were like good as free materials, free sources, but I'm not very heavy into like, hey, you have to read chapter this or chapter that. Generally, a lot of the content is introduced through the form of pre videos. So let me just put this. This textbook is going to be, it's an open source. It's going to be very helpful because I have copied a lot of the general ideas or concepts, and this is basically like a theory book, but the first half is sort of like the fundamentals of music, and it does go into like more nuanced stuff like specific chords, harmony, and everything. But you don't have to worry about those last chapters. It's basically up to like chapter 7 or so, chapter 8, let's say. That's how far I sort of tend to go. Um, so you can see, like, if we're looking about triads, well, they have this resource on the side. I've copied a lot of these images just to give them handouts so they can be like accessible during class and throughout a specific unit. And in general, like, you can invite them. Hey, like, if you really want to learn more, or you're interested just to clarify a bit the concepts, or discover them on your own, like, you have this resource that you can access. It's free. So I'm just going to jump around. The grading system, you can literally copy all this. It's sort of based on some of Dr. Arndt's templates. What I want to talk to you is about the course grades, the assessments that we have. So the way I've been doing this is that I like doing a lot of classroom work where people have handouts that they're going to be using for each of the 6 units, and I like them doing things in person. Okay. No, I don't like passive learning. It's good to bother people like, hey, let's do this exercise together as a group, or share with a person, or do a group of 3. Individual learning is okay, but it's not always effective in many instances, and sometimes for these fundamental like areas, it's more beneficial for people to discuss ideas, to put them into play, to express their doubts, like, hey, I'm not really understanding this, like what would your opinion be? So you ask someone else, and someone else, well, I think it's this and that, and then your function is more like, well, have you all thought about this or that, or you're spot on with all this. So I've broken this into like three big uh, assignments. So the first one is the exams and quizzes. So the exams are, I've been doing them on paper. Some semesters I've been doing one of the exams online. The quizzes are online. These are like questionnaires that I have with a score. Sometimes they get the score in advance so they can analyze a score. This is especially for like the last units on triads and seventh chords. And they get questions that are easy to grade because it's all on Icon. Icon is our platform interface. Um, so they log in to do a quiz, and they just go question by question. Sometimes the answers are auto corrected. Sometimes you have to check them, but it's a very efficient way in terms of time. Remember, you're coming here to study, so don't try to minimize the amount of time that you're grading, because it does take time. And a lot of the course, I've designed it to make it as time friendly for you as possible, or in general for whoever is going to teach the course. But again, you can change this at your will. So I have a file that has all the models of the exams, the quizzes. I've had last semester, I flipped to, instead of three exams, I did four exams. And I don't remember how many quizzes I did. There was small quizzes. Sometimes they take 10 minutes, and you can do them at the end of class. 50 minutes go by quickly, but you can do up to like two, three activities per class. The exams, I generally reserve like one day for the exam. On the syllabus, you're going to find at the end that there's a schedule for the whole semester. Technically, this course, to be honest, for a 14 or 16 semester, 4 month semester or 16 weeks, um, if you really want to do an intensive course of this, I think with 3 days a week, you could actually finish this course like in 3 months. But this is an early process for people, so some of them require time. Time is on your side. Learning takes time and everything. So the schedule that you'll see on this syllabus is sort of stretched out to like complete a unit every 2 weeks or so. Um, am I correct with that statement? It's it should be, yes, yes, yeah, yeah. So every 2 weeks, you should be able to cover everything with sufficient time to add like extra days that you can move the schedule around. If you're seeing like, hey, things aren't working with this topic, I could probably add another day and move everything a bit. So I'm not very strict with what is on the syllabus, even though the syllabus schedule is a contract. But there is a quota there that's like, hey, all this is. It's possible it might be changed due to unforeseen circumstances, or you're just adapting to the speed of people. So with the homeworks, I do have a lot of homeworks. There's a file that you're going to see like 13 homeworks. So I'll talk about this assessment quickly, and then we'll look at some of the files and talk about how we can access this. Um, so the homeworks, I tend to do specific days, like you turn in on Monday or you turn in on Wednesday, and generally I'll tell them like, hey, I'll try to get us back as soon as possible. Generally, like I'll dedicate one day of grading them and then return them on the next class. But sometimes I might wait two class periods to return them. It's very important to get them those assessments because they're all related to what's on the homework should be on the exam and everything. So you don't have to trick them or surprise them with anything. Feel free to modify the exams if there's things that you haven't covered and you see them on these documents. Don't bother too much. The general objective is to get some understanding of all these concepts. And this course is recursive in the sense that like as you go through each unit, you can see right below here just the assessments and evaluation. You're going to start with rhythm, pitch, scales, key signatures, intervals, and triads. It's very similar to most of the fundamental courses. And when I say recursive, is that each unit is going to be like going back to prior content. So by the time you're doing triads, you should be knowing pitch, you should be knowing scales, you should be knowing key intervals, key signatures, and the intervals, and so on backwards. You're sort of building on that. So the idea of stretching out the time is also my response, because a lot of the courses that you have here at the university, they're like a once they start, it's like a train without a stop. You do 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week, 5 week. We're not going back. You can talk with the professor to do office hours and everything. I am really considerate of time. Time takes. It's necessary to take time to learn. So sometimes you can move around the schedule if you're thinking about the full semester. If you want to condense it into something early and finish early the course, go ahead. As long as you're doing the objectives of the course, the time layout, I don't think that's a problem. The important thing is the objective and how you're reaching it in an efficient way. So, besides the homework, so they'll have these homeworks that they'll practice in class. They have some handouts that are imitations of the homework. The handouts are more lengthy, so they have extra material to practice with. On the side of that, you'll have some recording assignments. If you want to do these, this is a response because the prior course had no oral interaction. For a music theory course, that's terrible. If we're not connected to sound, forget about it being music in a way. Um, the recording assignments is tricky because I don't get very far with this. I really wanted to incorporate more towards the end of the course, having more recording assignments. But you have a couple of things that I've sort of like I've changed them throughout the semester. Sometimes I do 4, 5, 6 recording assignments. One semester we did 10 different activities. It sort of went with the flow. I believe I changed at the end of the semester. I gave them a bit. Oh yeah, this is updated. Yeah, don't mind. I was just going to talk about the percentages and everything. This is the current one. I changed it. It used to be like 30, 30, 10, 10 or something like that. I don't remember and the attendance. But feel free to evaluate all this as you can. So the video discussion posts, these are videos that I assign before beginning a topic. So the idea is that students can learn on their own and they can interact with the content. So most of the videos are made by Dr. Meyer. She's one of the professors, faculty here, and she has a YouTube channel. You might have seen them probably, Dr. Meyer. And what I do is I copy paste links. Hey, we're starting this content. We're going to be looking into this. You can look at these chapters, but look at the video, take notes, try out some of the exercises that she proposes, interact with the video so you can sort of annotate your things and come to class with some prior knowledge. So the idea is that you want them to regurgitate information like, oh, I heard it from this person. Now I'm hearing it from the TA. Now I'm doing the homework on my own. I'm questioning things in a way. So the idea is to give them different voices to interact with all this. These discussion posts, what I mean with that is that they have a prompt to do 4 activities, at least 2 of them, like summarize the video or mention a couple of difficulties that you've had in your prior life related to this topic, or I don't remember the other points, but we'll see them on icon briefly. And finally, I just add some attendance. You got to be very careful with like the attendance because students tend to some students come to class very well, high attendance record, but I've had instances where students just disappear for half of the semester and they come back hoping to pass the course to be able to take the music theory course, and I'm like, sorry, there's a grade cap with all this. You should go through the syllabus, read all this so you can sort of see what I mean with that grade cap. I don't know the attendance expectancies. Dr. Arndt has this, I'm highlighting over here. Every unexcused absence will be 2 points deducted from your final grade. And there's a grade cap of like no more than 10 absences, which is a lot. If you consider 3 weeks, if you consider 3 weeks of classes, 9 classes, that's a lot of content. They're losing at least 1 unit. So try to warn them if they're willing to take some time off, to be smart with it because the course is recursive. So if you miss out one content, it's going to affect you in the future. Um, I wouldn't encourage to do makeup hours. Like one thing is office hours for students interested in tackling something, but not for makeup classes. That's there's a reason the schedule is there. Try to stick to it because it's going to keep your sanity in terms of like your other commitments. Remember, this course is just your stipend, it's experience, blah blah blah, all that. You're going to be learning a lot of things, but you came here to study. So find time for your own things and try to be that. I won't go through more of this. This video is recording. I don't know. I think it's like 30 minutes. So I don't know if it's going to cut off at a certain point. I didn't really look at the time, but I think we might be like around 20 or something. So I'm just going to show you. There's a file. I'm going to show you icon. This is what the course of Spring 26 looks like. This you don't have to really design. You could literally, I told Dr. Arndt, hey, With the course, you have all the materials here on icon. You just have to import. So this is something that Dr. Arn can do right here on the side. It's like import existing content. So he could just copy paste all this, and all these windows over here, course materials, everything is there. Okay. You feel free to go around. This one, you're seeing unit 6 at the top right now. It's because that's how the course went. But generally, I start like unit 1 is at the top and so on. And just I start flipping them down because they don't really need them. But this is the TA view. There's a student view over here, where you can see what students are seeing and what do they have access to, because sometimes I can hide things and so they can't really see that. Leave student view. So a couple of big things here is that on the left you have attendance. So try to take attendance early on in the class. Um, and this one, for example, last semester I only had 2 students and everything. They were really good students, but it's like, yeah, it's tricky sometimes. You got your grade book over here. So the grade book is going to populate you with like all the assignments that has been going on. And hopefully it'll open. So you can, it's going to be probably a bit messy at the beginning. For some reason, messy like soccer. For some reason, it moves things around. So like this is homework 7. And this is on the main page. So I'll just go back a second. This is where you input your grade and everything. So you can see like over here, unit 6, there's a written homework 11, whatever. Oh, things are moving around. So everything is here on icon. It's all grouped into the units. Probably the only thing you would have to do if you want to take this same content is that you would probably have to update some of the dates on the homework. For example, like this is triads 11, um, written homework. Some of these have videos. I've noticed that students have trouble sometimes going through homeworks, or they need a reminder of how the process went. So sometimes I re-record videos of me doing some exercises or discussing issues. So you're free to copy paste these videos, leave them if you want, or just eliminate them, or create your own videos if you feel it more necessary. So this is like homework 11. And I have a file, we'll look at that in a second, where you can change the original document. So this is a PDF that I uploaded, but there is a Word document. So like if it's the date that you want to change, or you just want to change the whole document and such, um, feel free to do that. Now, this is just a general overview of what you're going to be seeing on Icon. And you can ask me later, like, well, how do I build this website? It's actually not that difficult. There's online, there's like some help stuff or tutorials and everything. But you can also ask me or Dr. Arndt. I'm going to flip a second to what the file is, the one that I want to share. But the problem is, this is OneDrive from the University of Iowa, and I understand to share files, it has to be a University of Iowa email. I told Dr. Arndt this, like, hey, I can't share things. And I was even scared when like I saw your email, because there was an incident with my email. And I was like, someone has been sending me this. Is this real, or is this a scam thing or something? So what I want to say with this is, there is this fundamentals file. This is the accumulation of everything that I've been working and designing. So you're going to see here where I'm highlighting 1200 fall 2016, 27. These were files that Dr. Arndt gave me. I worked with those initially, modified them, but now I've pretty much done my own thing. So the big things that you're going to be looking for is to this homework file. You're going to see the exams are all in Word and published over here. And there is also mock exams, so you can publish things for them to practice beforehand. Um, there's, let me see, the homework is in PDF. So like if I click number 4, it's pitch, and you'll see this file. Everything is designed. If you want to add things, add things. If you want to invent the wheel, invent the wheel. But I'm just saying, hey, I designed all this. If it's helpful, use it. If it's not helpful, don't use it. Don't worry. You are the master of your world. So you can see, yes, there's like 12 homeworks from last semester. I once got up to 14 homeworks. I was like, okay, we covered everything. Let's keep on going with more content. You got a couple of quizzes. The quizzes are, you might have to ask me about these because these are a bit tricky. I have some handouts also. These handouts are going to be your ally. So like I grouped them into like two pairs of two. Pairs of two, that's funny. Okay, so if you click handout one, it's going to be rhythm and pitch. So these are all exercises on rhythm and pitch. And you can see you have a document of 16 files just to practice rhythm and pitch with them. These are taken from different textbooks and some that I've added on my own. So you have a lot of material. You're going to be in excess of material. So the idea of this handout is that you print it out, you got a copy machine, you give them to students, and they'll be able to have this in class. And you can work with this in class. So you can um, like write on your own, project it, or you could just tell them, hey, let's do number two today, exercise, whatever, and you can all work with that. So as you see, you have pretty much everything sort of made out for all the units. Unit six, I was a bit, I got short on this one because I was sort of adapting more exercises in class, just improvising in the way. And there's also some worksheets, which are activities in class. Let's see if I find one quickly. I'm going to pause it in a bit because I think we're getting to the 30 minute. So this is, for example, a Baccarat. Hey, like in slash notation, add the chords. But this one actually didn't have what I was looking for. But sometimes I have questionnaires and everything. I'll have to go through these. So as you see, this is a big, big thing. I'm sending you the syllabus so you can go through it, but all the material is here. The problem is, as I told Dr. On, hey, like there's no UIowa email. I can't share it on OneDrive. I'm waiting for him to see. If you know, if, as soon as you get your email, just shoot me back a message. But again, you don't have to worry too much. Things are created, okay? There's sufficient time right now to sort of go through. You can see all these homeworks, they go beyond and everything. So you're going to be have a lot of materials here. There's even audio files and links to stuff. I'm going to pause there. Just want to say welcome to Iowa. My apologies if I've been slow on this. Today I got my poster for the research project that I was doing. So I finally present on Friday. I can take a breather. And this is the time that I found to sort of dedicate for you some time to explain the course. But feel free to ask me questions and reach out. I'm there to help you and everything. I hope everything goes well as you get over here to Iowa and everything. So I look forward to meeting you and have a good one. I'm going to stop sharing right here. Bye, Tyler.